Giant brick buildings that once housed generators to power the city of Sand Springs will soon be home to the spring-loaded brewery, restaurant, and event center.
The Micro Brewery is going to be an all stainless steel, brand new system, state-of-the-art, 30-barrel capacity, which is right at 900 gallons per batch.
Water for all the beers brewed here will come from the same sand springs that give the town its name. The $5.5 million project, financed in part with state and federal historic preservation grants, is the idea of architect Ken Alexander. He envisions his project as a catalyst for additional development.
Our vision is to create a destination point in West Tulsa, Sand Springs specifically.
Converting defunct power plants into restaurants and bars is a trend catching on nationwide. The appeal of the old buildings comes from soaring ceilings, wide open spaces, and quirky architectural details.
This building, originally, parts of it was constructed in 1911 by Charles Page, who built the town of Sand Springs. And it's on the National Register of Historic Places. So we are working with actually the National Park Service, who administrates the historic preservation efforts in the country. And it was built originally to provide power to the city, and it was expanded as the power needs grew for the city. So one end was built in 1911. The other end, which is about 330 feet away, was built in 1935.
Alexander purchased the old power and water facility a few weeks ago. However, he's had plans for turning it into a microbrewery, restaurant, and event space for up to 1,000 people for almost 5 years. The plan calls for blending the past with the future.
What we're trying to do is match our concept to the building rather than match the building to a concept, which is what happens too often. But the big overhead crane you see in the background, that's going to be used to support the grain hopper over the kettles. There's a whole piping and catwalk in the restaurant area that's going to stay in place. The structure in the biggest part of the building is all going to be exposed. The State Historic Preservation Office is very excited because hardly anybody tries to preserve industrial buildings.
The old power plant isn't the only thing being preserved here. These old trolley cars that are in really sorry shape, and even this old Sand Springs fire truck, will also be preserved as a part of the project.
The fire engine actually was the first pumper truck for the city of Sand Springs. We think it's a 1949 vintage Chevrolet. So we will fix that up, get it running, and have it in parades and promotions and so forth. The trolley car was one of the 2 remaining cars which was on the Sand Springs line. It needs a lot of help, and I don't know if we're up to that task or not. It actually belongs to the Museum Trust. We may split the effort on that. I can't really say what's going to happen to that at this point.
Alexander says people can anticipate being able to stop by the new brewery and restaurant to check out his preservation work and recharge with a good meal and a cold beer next summer. For ONR, I'm Kathy Tatum.